Hi to everyone, this is Alessandro Martelli speaking from i2a, Istituto Internazionale di Architettura in Vico Morcote. We are here with Florian Graf. Hi Florian, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself if you can.
Yeah, my name is Florian Graf. I'm born in Basel and I'm recently living in different places. Usually where I do work or projects, which is in London, Berlin or Basel. At the moment I'm based actually at the Lake Constance, the Bodensee, living in a 30s tower overlooking the lake. And I'm an artist, or at least I don't like that expression so much because I try to leave it to other people to judge whether I'm an artist or not, but I try to make projects or objects or things that have an artistic ambition, let's say.
My question comes immediately. What is an artistic ambition for you?
I think it's trying to, first of all, for me it's on the one hand it's a philosophical part, which means philosophers never try to come up with answers and solutions, but first of all they try to find the right questions. So it's questioning things and it's being critical, and it's really trying within our world today to find or to look for sort of new paths, or for long past paths that are sort of not trendy anymore, or to find new ways, generally to find new ways, and do that with with full intensity, without saving energy, and that's kind of trying to give energy.
What your work is actually addressing? Can you maybe to quote a couple of your works and try to explain the intention, or at least what was your desire while engaging that work?
Well, it's difficult to explain. Well, although my work usually has a narrative element, it's tricky to explain it, because otherwise I would just write down a story in a book or in a text, an essay. But I'm doing visual art, so it has always a visual component which cannot really, or a haptic or spatial component, which cannot describe in language. But I try to describe some 2 or 3 projects. One was, let's say, for example, The Folly of Defense, which was in, I think, 2 years ago. I took the fence that surrounded a private property, and out of that fence I built a huge gate that made on that property. So out of a defending material, the fence, I built something that welcomes, that's something that makes you come in, and but still keeping this ambiguous moment of private property and public space. And the title, Folly, like something craziness, of defense, of fence means fence, of taking away fence, but defense means also to keep away or to protect something. This ambiguous moment to create some sculptural piece that has this that makes people think basically. And when children stopped on their bicycles and sort of were astonished what's happening, because it was quite high. That fence went up to 5 meters and came down again, building a huge gate, like a huge entrance door to some other space. And what I achieved, I can never control what happens with the work, and I don't want people to do this or that. I'm not a choreographer. I try to create an environment that allows things, or that maybe inspires things, and that opens up a dialogue. And it definitely, that piece, for example, opened up the dialogue, people discussing what they could do with their fences. Maybe another project was called Waltzing Walls, like dancing walls, which I did for Art Chicago. 2 years ago, and there I was asked to do an independent art project, a non-commercial art project, and I got a space where I should exhibit, and I built 3 wall sculptures that were nomadic. So they left the space and walked around the whole fair and sort of interrupted the commercial art business. And that was, on the one hand, of course, was a critique and trying to sort of do something in a world I'm not very happy. And the art world is not necessarily a world where you always feel happy. And art fairs are the places where there's not much fun. It's about serious business, and people are all stressed and running around, and there's no. And I tried to transform that business place into a carnival, and there were a lot of things happening that were quite funny and made lots of people made them laugh. But at the same time, there were paintings on those walls, or graphic work, or pictures, or images, or however you want to call it, prints also, that dealt with walls, also political walls that were built from America towards Mexico, or the wall in Israel. And then this project sort of attacked different emotional levels from a very open and funny, humorous thing that happened in a situation to a more political level. So I think I still see arts as being a sort of one of the last professions where you can be universal to some extent, and then trying to combine different levels, which might be intimate and or philosophical or social or historical. And so my goal is to inspire, but I don't have a precise sort of program or brief that I'm working for.
But anyway, can you address what you did here for i2a? Can you explain briefly the work? And in any case, I think it addressed the topic that you already speak about in a certain sense.
Well, for tonight I was invited by 2 architects from Lausanne to participate in their event, and we together sort of came up with the idea for a performance, which was called Intimita, and it's a very architectural theme to work about intimacy, because intimacy is something very private and belongs into interior, so the interior world, also in terms of more of a spiritual sense. And so we did a performance with those aluminium circles, where we sort of played with the audience and the visitors, and created a situation, I think, of high energy and density, where we put together people who didn't know each other, and so there were all sort of I think interesting feelings going on. And after that I gave a talk where I tried to think about the concept of intimacy and how it's linked to control, to protection, to political thought, and to very intimate private thought, or how a private intimate imagination sort of can become political, and sort of try to combine it with presentation of my own work.
Now the last question. I mean, your intervention in i2a was already quite manifold. It was an event, then was an explanation, a lecture of your own work. So in a certain way, you had already experience of the fact that in i2a many different things take place. Even we got restaurants inside, even we eat. And the point for us is that in any case, every time we need to reinvent the program and to imagine what we can do next. From your perspective as an artist, having seen, as an artist with your own interest, having seen the place, having seen the infrastructure, which has got a certain capacity, what do you expect to happen next here?
Well, I don't know what I expect to happen next, but it's a very artistic space because it's not fully defined, and because it's not defined as, you know, clearly an institute for this or that, or only that, or only that. It has a very art-like situation, because you always have to reinvent and come up with new thoughts and solutions, which is very parallel to an artistic process. And I think that's the potential of this place, that you can also sort of very quickly react on things, and you can spontaneously nearly make things possible here. And personally, I love those kind of places, because also there is a sort of it's not about just a subject or a profession. It's more about a concept of life, really, a very holistic sort of ambition. And I hope that ambition will stay, and that out of this place there will come sort of new ideas and designs for a way of life, because I think the world at the moment is sort of in a tricky position where we have to find sort of new ways, whether it's economics, whether it's politics, or energy situation. We have to come up with new ideas, and I think this place is sort of, I hope that this place brings together people, and maybe also from different areas, let's say politics, bring them together with artists, with architects, and maybe those. I hope this place will stay and be a meeting point where people can come together in a very special setting. I mean, the whole landscape and everything is fantastic. One is sort of in another world, but at the same time in the same world, so you can sort of step back and look on it, and I think it's inspiring. And if I hope that you will organize many things where people come together and sort of maybe just make possible dialogues, and then hopefully out of that dialogues there comes action for the future.
Florian, many thanks for the intervention. We hope that you will be back soon to profit from the potentiality of the place, and to the next. Many thanks.